From News Center 8, it's News Break.
Good evening. Here's what's making news tonight. The outlook for peace talks in the Mideast is suddenly not so good. Secretary of State Baker made no headway with Arab leaders today, and Israelis say they won't budge. Hundreds of millions of people watched a multinational benefit concert for Kurdish refugees. We'll have some highlights. Meanwhile, a recent Harvard survey says many doctors support the use of marijuana by cancer patients. We'll tell you if Montana doctors agree. And a look at Mom, how she spent her day and what she means to us. I'm Lisa Stack. Join me at 10 for these stories, plus sports and weather, with Todd Reed and Mark Peterson tonight on News Center 8.
$5 won't buy much these days, unless you go to Arby's, where $5 buys you 5 regular roast beef sandwiches. But hurry, the 5 for $5 deal ends soon.
This is KULR-TV, Billings.
They were adversaries from light years apart, marooned together on a hostile planet. What began as a bitter hatred,
I don't love you and you don't love me,
became a mutual struggle for survival.
This planet don't kill us, we're gonna kill each other.
Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. as an alien more human than any man. Enemy mine.
From News Center 8, it's News Break.
Good evening. Here's what's making news tonight. The outlook for peace talks in the Mideast is suddenly not so good. Secretary of State Baker made no headway with Arab leaders today, and Israelis say they won't budge. Hundreds of millions of people watched a multinational benefit concert for Kurdish refugees. We'll have some highlights. Meanwhile, a recent Harvard survey says many doctors support the use of marijuana by cancer patients. We'll tell you if Montana doctors agree. And a look at Mom, how she spent her day and what she means to us. I'm Lisa Stack. Join me at 10 for these stories, plus sports and weather, with Todd Reed and Mark Peterson tonight on News Center 8.
$5 won't buy much these days, unless you go to Arby's, where $5 buys you 5 regular roast beef sandwiches. But hurry, the 5 for $5 deal ends soon.
This is KULR-TV, Billings.
Coming up next, a bleaker outlook for peace talks in the Middle East, and music stars perform to benefit Kurdish refugees. What do Montana doctors think about the use of marijuana by cancer patients? And a tribute to Mom. Happy Mother's Day. I'm Lisa Stack. These stories up next.
This is a Color 8 News Break.
Good evening. A computer programming error has sent out 76,000 incorrect state tax forms, and it's going to cost the state about $20,000 to fix the error. The 1099-G forms, which contain information about state income tax refunds, are used in figuring federal income taxes. The erroneous forms say the refunds were made in 1992 instead of 1993. However, financial figures on the forms are correct. The administrator of the State Income Tax Division, Jeff Myler, says the last of the corrected forms will be mailed tomorrow. I'm Christina Brown. I'll be back here at 10 along with Patty Souza and Scott Breen for the Color 8 Weekend Report. We hope you'll join us.
From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8.
Up next on the Color 8 Weekend Report, a small plane skids down the runway at Billings-Logan International Airport tonight. We'll tell you what President Clinton plans on doing after the most violent shelling in Bosnia. And we'll tell you why snow is something that's badly needed. Plus, Patty Souza's work week forecast, and Scott Breen wraps up the weekend's rodeo action. It's all next here on Color 8.
From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8. From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8. From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8. A KULR News Center. From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8. From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8. This is a Color 8 news break.
Hi, everybody. I'm Frank Field. A California doctoral student says she has evidence that wolves, among other animals, are historical natives of Yellowstone National Park. Liz Barnosky is unearthing fossils from Lamar Cave, fossils hauled there by wood rats over thousands of years. Barnosky says she's found wolf toes and a tooth. There are some people who doubt her claims, but Barnosky will use her discoveries to obtain a doctorate in biology from the University of California at Berkeley. She'll wrap up her excavation of wood rat caves this summer. More news tonight on Color 8 at 10 o'clock. I'll join you for Color 8's Weekend Report with Scott Fletcher and Scott Breen. We'll see you at 10.
From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8. This is a Color 8 news break.
Coming up later on the Color 8 Weekend Report, today's a day set aside to remember those who've died from AIDS. We'll tell you what people here in Billings are doing to show support for victims. Also, lawmakers on Capitol Hill are gearing up for what's expected to be a heated debate regarding health care reform. I'm Christina Brown. I'll be back here at 10 along with Jennifer Neibauer and Scott Breen. We hope you'll join us. Up next on the Color 8 Weekend Report, people are gathering to remember those who've died of AIDS. We'll also tell you about a new program offering support for victims here in Billings. The healthcare debate is expected to heat up on Capitol Hill this week, and mourners continue to pay their last respects to Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. It's all next here on Color 8.
From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8. From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8. From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8.
Seasons. Stress. They call it the disease of the 90s. Drug and alcohol abuse. Is it a problem? Health. Fitness. Do we really care? How do we deal with relationships in the 90s?
Do these issues affect teens? You bet they do. Do you want to know how we feel?
Then join us Saturday at 4:30 for Color 8's Teen Talk, and we'll tell you how we feel.
Color 8's Teen Talk is brought to you locally by Billings Business College and Montana Dairy Farmers.
It's a fear every parent has. It's a solution most kids have considered. When it happens, we all have to deal with it. Runaway teens. Why do the streets look better than life at home? Can the system rehabilitate these kids? Or are they just throwaways?
I'm Christina Brown. Runaway teens are a problem everyone must deal with. For solutions to the problem, watch Runaway Teens, a three-part series starting February 20th, exclusively on Color 8, where news comes first.
From prenatal to early childhood, we want to be sure that every Montana child has access to care. The Baby Your Baby program provides help and information, encouraging families and their communities to ensure our children the best possible start in life. If you have questions, call 1-800-421-MOM. And please join us each Sunday night during the Color 8 10 p.m. news for information on how to baby your baby.
Baby Your Baby is brought to you locally by St. Vincent Hospital and Health Center and Color 8 Television.
Hi, I hope you've sent in your entry for the Color 8 Snow Watch contest to win one of these great Toro snow throwers, the Toro Electric 1800 or the Gas CCR 1000. Tuesday, February 21st, during the 5:30 and 10 p.m. Color 8 news, I'll draw a name from our entries, and that person will have 8 minutes to call Color 8 and win their own Toro snow thrower. So be sure and get your entries in today for the Color 8 Snow Watch, and I'll see you on the news.
Paper Warehouse, the Billings Mental Health Association, and Color 8 Television present Teen Salute 95. February is Billings Teen Month, And counselors from the 4 Billings high schools were asked to select outstanding teens from each of their schools to be recognized this year. Teenagers are truly an integral part of our community, and all of us at the Billings Mental Health Association, Color 8 Television, and the Paper Warehouse are proud to salute these special teens for their efforts. 3 words accurately describe Dave Rye, Montana's news anchor. Dave Rye grew up in Montana. He knows Montana. He cares about Montana. Dave Rye is the most experienced news anchor in the state of Montana. When experience is what you rely on in choosing a news anchor, choose Dave Rye. Dave Rye is a news anchor you can trust. When you think of news anchors, think 5 words. Dave Rye, Montana's news anchor. Only on Color 8, where news comes first. From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8. From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8. From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8. From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8.
Ahead at 10 on the Color 8 News.
A woman in her 70s is killed in a West End Billings home. Her husband is in custody as the principal suspect. He appeared in Justice Court this afternoon. The neighbors reported hearing an argument and then gunshots around 2 this morning. What could have provoked such a deadly exchange at such a normally tranquil hour in such a normally tranquil Billings neighborhood? I'm Dave Rye. That story tonight at 10 on Color 8.
Same great store at a new location with some wonderful new surprises in home furnishings and accessories. It's the grand reopening of Memories, Gifts and Engraving, 1844 Grand Avenue.
From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8.
Fire does $40,000 damage to a Billings home, and it happens during local observances of Fire Safety Week. A detection dog has been on the scene to sniff out the cause, and it could be arson. I'm Dave Rye. That story is next, here on Color 8.
I'll update you on the tropical storm that's hitting Florida's west coast tonight at 10. Did you like today's weather? Well, we've got more on tap. I'll tell you about it at 10.
From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8. Now, from Color 8, where news comes first, the 10 o'clock Weekend Report with Jonathan Marcus.
Enough glue for a lifetime of arts and crafts. You turned us on, now you're stuck with the Color 8 10 o'clock report. A truck bladder is broken in Billings. A cocaine ring is broken in Wyoming. Records are broken at Augusta. And housebroken felines parade down the catwalk. If it's not broken, don't fix it. We're talking about the Color 8 10 o'clock report next.
This is a Color 8 news break.
A sticky afternoon for some Billings firefighters. A steamy evening in the Deaconess X-ray room. The heat is on a Wyoming drug ring. Our taxes are due. Is it possible that newts will make things easier on us? Pedestrians in Anaconda will need to watch out for flying human beings. I'm Jonathan Marcus. We'll have all this, plus more on Tigers' finish at Augusta and this balmy weather we've been having on the Color 8 10 o'clock report.
From Billings, Montana, you're watching Color 8. 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 KULR8.com and NBC Interactive Neighborhood have teamed up to bring your hometown right into your home. If you're looking to rent or buy a new home, find a new job, save a little money, or much more, NBC Interactive Neighborhood has exactly what you're looking for. And when you really want to know, KULR8.com brings you news from around the world from MSNBC on the internet. Find us at KULR8.com, your hometown homepage.